Imagine dedicating your entire career to building a new intelligence, only to realize the math suggests your creation might eventually wipe out humanity. That is the specific fear expressed by Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI. After leaving Google, he confessed to comforting himself with the thought that if he hadn't built it, someone else would have. It is a confession that mirrors the scientists who built the atomic bomb. Today, the very people leading the AI industry openly warn that this technology poses an extinction risk on par with pandemics and nuclear warheads. But back in 2020, OpenAI was the undisputed center of this universe, led by Sam Altman. They possessed the most advanced models, the deepest pockets, and a billion-dollar Microsoft partnership. This is why the entire tech world was stunned when 7 of OpenAI's top researchers suddenly walked out the door. They abandoned the most powerful company in history to start a rival called Anthropic, driven by a discovery that suggested a catastrophe was already in motion. The defection was led by Dario Amodei, OpenAI's VP of Research. While overseeing the development of their flagship models, Amodei identified a mathematical pattern that changed his view of the future. This chart represents the scaling laws. AI intelligence relies on model size, data, and compute. Multiply them, and intelligence explodes exponentially. The nightmare is there is no ceiling. It continues climbing past the chart, eventually surpassing all human control. Amodei realized the industry was racing toward a cliff with no brakes. He and his team left OpenAI to build a safety-first bunker, a company designed to create models that could be restricted and controlled before they reached that point of no return. When the defectors started Anthropic, they had none of the resources they left behind. No massive server farms, no pre-trained models, and no multi-billion-dollar backers. They were starting over with nothing but a whiteboard. But Amodei had a unique insight. In a market obsessed with speed, safety would eventually become the most valuable commodity. He bet that the world's most important organizations would eventually refuse to use an AI they couldn't trust. To protect this vision, they incorporated as a public benefit corporation. Unlike a standard company that is legally bound to maximize shareholder profits at all costs, Anthropic is legally permitted to prioritize its safety mission, even if it means leaving money on the table. They also created a long-term benefit trust. This diagram shows how they severed the link between money and power. The company is overseen by 5 independent trustees who own no stock and draw no salary. Their only job is to ensure the AI remains safe for the public. Because these trustees have no financial stake in the company's success, they have the power to halt development or even bankrupt the company if the technology begins to pose a threat. It is a corporate structure built to prioritize human survival over quarterly earnings. The standard way to keep AI safe is a process called reinforcement learning from human feedback. OpenAI employs armies of human workers to read millions of AI responses and manually grade them. They tell the AI which answers are helpful and which are harmful. This method has major limitations. It is slow, incredibly expensive, and the AI ends up mirroring the specific biases of the people grading it. Often, the AI learns to be polite and diplomatic, rather than being truthful. But the biggest problem is complexity. As AI begins to solve math and coding problems that no human on Earth understands, a human grader becomes incapable of checking if the answer is actually correct or safe. Anthropic solved this with constitutional AI. Instead of human graders, they give the AI a written set of rules. The model then performs an internal critique. It drafts a response, checks it against its own constitution, and rewrites the answer to ensure it never violates those core principles. This process happens at machine speed, requiring zero human intervention. As the AI grows more intelligent, its ability to police itself scales at the exact same rate. By proving the AI could follow a strict internal code, Anthropic solved the primary obstacle for large-scale adoption: trust. They had developed a system capable of handling complex, sensitive tasks that were previously off-limits for automated models. While OpenAI went after the consumer market, turning ChatGPT into a viral sensation, Anthropic stayed in the background. They focused entirely on making their model, Claude, the most reliable tool for businesses. Rapid consumer growth can be a trap. OpenAI has hundreds of millions of users, but the vast majority pay nothing, even though every single conversation costs OpenAI real money in computing power. Anthropic targeted the enterprise market, the banks, law firms, and software companies that need to process massive documents and write sensitive code. These clients don't care about viral features, they care about accuracy and data privacy. The financial results of this strategy are stark. While an average OpenAI business client spends under $8,000 a year, a typical Anthropic corporate customer spends $120,000. By prioritizing corporate trust and high-stakes coding over consumer fame, Anthropic built a business model that is far more efficient and much harder for competitors to displace. Look at the trajectory this focus has created. While OpenAI is growing at 300% annually, Anthropic is compounding at 1,000%. Based on current momentum, their revenue lines are on track to cross in early 2026, with Anthropic projected to hit a $47 billion run rate despite having far fewer users. This rivalry is not just a race for market share. It is a meeting of two necessary philosophies. OpenAI proved that AI can be a tool for everyone, while Anthropic proved it can be trusted with the world's most critical infrastructure. The pressure of this competition is what's pushing the technology forward. We need AI that is both powerful and safe, and this race ensures we aren't sacrificing one for the other. But as we move toward a world where our global systems are run by machines that police themselves, the final question remains: who gets to write the rules that keep us